Hello YouTube, it's Lily back with my final video for the night. I want to apologize for making so many videos in one day. It's just this is new to me. Making videos is new and I don't want to make the videos too long, but I also don't want to leave out information. So, my other three videos, if you want to go check it out, it explains a little bit more about me a little bit. I just don't want to keep repeating the same things in every video. So for this video, all I'm going to talk about is why I am trying to join the Marine Corps and why I took the Asvab for the Navy and the Army. Okay, so I've always been fascinated with the military. My dad he was in the Navy and he finished out his years in the Army. My brother, who's a year and a half younger than me, is active duty Navy. Back when I was in high school, I graduated high school 2011. So like my junior and senior year, Marine recruiters would always come to our school and have like a little stand with information and have like physical testing, and that's always been my thing. I've always been a physically active person, physically fit. I played basketball and ran track and field and getting down and dirty, that kind of stuff, that stuff is me. I had my oldest son my junior year of high school, the end of my junior year when I was 17. So when I had him, I kind of put everything else on hold and just took care of him. I finished school, of course, but for as far as the military, I kind of forgot about all that. And then when my brother graduated high school, he joined the Navy. He was working two jobs and going to community college, and he said that it wasn't enough for him. It was just he was working two jobs to barely make enough to pay bills, and on top of that, he's going to school, having to take out loans that he'd probably be in debt for. So he felt like joining the military would be best for him, and and it was. Well, it is. He's still in. But when he joined and was talking to me about it, everything kind of came back to me like, I wanted to join the military. Like I said, when I was in high school, the only recruiters I remember coming to our school were the Marines. I didn't see any Navy, Air Force, or anybody else. So, like, when, he's talking to me about it, he talked me into going to talk to his Navy recruiter. And like I said, this was about 2 years ago. He talked me into talking to his Navy recruiter. For the Navy, I think it's for the Marine Corps as well, but I know for sure for the Navy. One way to rank up while you're still in the DEP program, which is the delayed entry program, is to get people to enlist before you go to boot camp. So if he would have successfully gotten me in, he would have. I don't know if he would have went in as an E2 or came out of boot camp as an E2. All I know is he would have ranked up, and that was his goal. And I was trying to help him. Me and my brother are close, but I also wanted to join the military. I really didn't do. I've never up until now, back then, I didn't do any research on any other branches, any branches of any kind. I was kind of oblivious to the whole thing. But, his recruiter was nice, and, my brother didn't have to study for the ASVAB. For his process, when he first talked to a recruiter, a week later, he went to take his actual ASVAB at MEPS, and he passed. He didn't study. So when I came in, I think the recruiter assumed because I was his sister that I would do just as well. And, my brother and the recruiter was just trying to reassure me, like, it's 8th grade math, 9th grade math, it's really easy. And to an extent, it is basic math, I guess. But for someone like me who's never, ever been good at math, I was so poor at math that I never moved past Algebra 1. They wouldn't allow me to go up. Like, I've always struggled. I was never able to get a tutor. I've been out of school since 2011, so, math is just a struggle for me, but like I said, I think he assumed that would be good, so he kind of persuaded me to just go and take the test, and I did. A week later, after talking to my brother's recruiter, I went to MEPS and took the ASVAB, and I failed miserably. I can't remember my exact score, it was too long ago, but I failed. We came back to his office, and he was like, just grab a book from the library, study, and come back in a month. Mind you, at the time, I have two children. Like I said, this was 2 years later. I had two children. I was working and I was going to school. I was working full-time and going to school part-time. Morning classes and then working evenings for work. And I had two children, so I wouldn't say I wasn't studying, but I guess it wasn't to the best of my ability. I was in school and was trying to, do good for school and pass my classes. So a month goes by and I told him, like, I semi-study, like I have all this going on, but he reassured me, like, a little bit of studying is good. Just take it. So we went to take it and I scored a 27. My second time taking the test, I scored a 27. Um, he was like, you know what, that's fine. Just you have another month. Come back and take it, and um, we'll be good to go. At that point, I was kind of discouraged, let down. I didn't want to do it anymore. I was just like, oh no, it's just I have too much going on. So I left it alone. A year went by. And I didn't go back to the recruiting office. And me and my family moved an hour from where we were. And maybe a month or two into our move, or we're newly moved, my brother has leave and from the Navy, and he comes and visits us. And I'm just like, you know what, Terrence? That's my brother's name. You know what? I want to go talk to a recruiter. I want to go see about still trying to join the military. However, I don't want to, talk to the Navy recruiter. I let him know, like, the Navy is not for me. I'm actually glad I didn't pass the Asvab back then because I didn't want to do the Navy. I tried to help my brother out, and it just wasn't me. So here's where the story begins about how I ended up taking it for the Army. Because like I said, I've always wanted to do the Marine. Honest to goodness, this is the truth. Every time I went to the Marine recruiting station, they were never there. Like, I mean, never. I went like 4 different times. I called, no one ever picked up. And it's funny because today while I was at the recruiting office, I told him, I said, you know what? Last year I came here like 4 times. I called several times and no one would pick up. And he told me that he was on vacation at one point for about 3 weeks. And that's probably why there was no response. And so at that time, when I couldn't get a hold of anybody, I was like, you know what? The Army is my second pick. I wouldn't mind joining the Army. So my brother went with me to talk to an Army recruiter. And, I mean, the Army recruiter was nice. However, he, to me, was more not so much caring about my needs. He was more on that he needs to meet his quota. So, like, hurry up and get in. So he tried to schedule me. I took the practice test. And mind you, I took that practice test several times from the Navy office. Like, every time I went in, like, I would come in between the month. I would come in once a week. They maybe come in once a week to take the practice test. And I memorized it. I mean, not like I went home and studied the questions, but I took the test so many times. Like, when I would come in the next week, it was like, okay, well, I picked this answer last time. It wasn't the correct answer. Last time I picked it wasn't this answer. So I'm like, when I scored pretty high on the practice one. And the recruiter was like, you know what, I forgot my score, but you got high enough, and people usually score like 20 points higher. Let's go take the test, next week. And I'm like, honestly, I've taken this practice test so many times in the last 2 years that it's more memorized. It's not a good way to determine whether I'm ready to go to the recruiting station to take the actual test, or to the MEP station. And he was just like, just study a little bit more, and in a few weeks, let's go. And again, I'm in school and working. So it's kind of the same story as it was 2 years ago. Like, this time I put a little bit more effort in. I really did. I honestly did. I put in a lot more effort. And so the recruiter is like, I told him, I said, okay, well, give me about maybe a month of studying and then I'll let you know. But the recruiter, after 2 weeks, was like calling me, trying to push up the date. Like, let's go take it now. Let's go take it this day. And I'm like, I'm not ready, give me some time. And he kind of, like, after a while, it's like, whatever. And I went in like a week earlier than what I wanted to. Took the test and I got the same score at 27. I was really disappointed at that point because I studied a lot harder. I mean, it's a lot different when you don't have any children and you're just working or you're just going to school. But me having 2 children at the time, working and going to school, like, I wasn't studying like I was supposed to, or I should have. It wasn't the correct way. I was really disappointed. And he told me like, well, this was your third time, so you have to wait 6 months. When you take the Asvab at MEPS after your third time, you have to wait 6 months. And I was just devastated, and I kind of was like, I don't want to do it anymore. So honestly, I didn't go back in, and I had my daughter, my youngest, and here she is, 10 months old, and I'm ready to get back into it. I have a lot of friends from school who are in every branch. I have friends from they're in the Marine Corps, that are in the National Guard, they're in the Army, that are in the Navy, and it's just like everyone is doing what I want to do. And I'm getting older. I'm 23 years old, and I really want to just get in there, but I want to go after what I really want to do. And Marine Corps is something that I always wanted to do. I really always wanted to do it. Like I said, I'm not the Navy, I mean, not the Navy, the Army is something that I would choose as a second option. I'm not down for it. I know for a fact I do not want the Air Force. I do not want the Navy. I do not want the Coast Guard. National Guard, Army, Marine, my top three choices. So I'm going to go after it. I'm going to study really hard. And I'm going to make another video. Actually, I lied. Because now that I'm talking, I'm thinking and I'm remembering. I left out a few pieces of information. So, I'm gonna wrap up this video, but I'm making one more for tonight. I promise you one more, but it's gonna be informative. So, all you single mothers out there who are trying to join the military, subscribe, check out my videos, and I'll see you next video.